On this video, I am going to be reading the Hebrew text and the Septuagint text, and also doing a grammatical analysis of both, along with a brief comment. This is Psalm 4. It's an evening prayer of relief after the psalmist has had a time of trouble. Tranquility comes to him. And so we pick it up with the Hebrew, and I'll alternate between the Hebrew and the Septuagint. Lamnatseach ben ginot mizmor leDavid. For the leader with stringed instruments, a psalm of David. Lamnatseach is from natsach, to lead or to be preeminent. We have a PL participle, masculine singular, from the root natsach, followed then or preceded by the inseparable preposition, the lamed. The Septuagint reads, Eis tatelas in psalmois ode to David. For the end, a psalm or a song of David among the Psalms or in the Psalms. And so we begin then in verse 1, continuing the text. It then reads, Bekor'i aneni Elohei tzidki, B'tzar hirhaftali, Chaneni ushema tefilati. When I call, answer me, God of my righteousness. Bekori is from the root kara. It's a cow infinitive construct followed by the pronominal suffix in the hirik yod, preceded by the bait, showing a temporal emphasis here. When I call, aneni, answer me, from the root ana, to answer, a lamed hey verb. It's the cow imperative, masculine singular, followed then by the pronominal suffix in the hirik yod. And I think the hinge in the noon, the second noon that takes us to the hirik yod. So answer me, God of my righteousness. And then, Batsar hirhaftali, in distress, you enlarged for me. It's interesting here, in narrowness, you have broadened like a space for me to get away, I think is the thought here. And hirhaftali is from rahav, to enlarge. It's a hifil perfect, second masculine singular from rahav, to enlarge. So in distress, you enlarged of space for me. Chaneni ushama tefilati. Be gracious and hear my prayer. Haneni is a cow imperative masculine singular from Hanan. So be gracious to me, followed by the pronominal suffix in the hirik yod. So Hanan is the root. Be gracious, cow imperative, as we said. Be gracious and hear. Ushema tefilati. Hear my prayer. Here we have Shema is the cow imperative masculine singular, preceded by the shurik, the conjunction here. So be gracious and hear my prayer. The Septuagint, then, reading it, in verse 2, or verse 1, it says, Into epikalestai me, ese kuse mu hathaas tes dekayasunes mu. In the lipse eplantanas moi, oi teresan me, kai esakusan tes prasuches mu. So when we read the Septuagint, it reads, when I called upon him, or in my calling, and we have to supply him here, in my calling, the God of my righteousness heard me. In affliction, you have made room for me. You have made room for me in my affliction. So pity me and hearken, or hear my prayer. So we begin with into epikalestai, and here we have an infinitive in when actually I call, epikaleo is the root. In my calling, it's a infinitive middle, a present infinitive middle from epikaleo. So in my calling, hear me, esekuse. And here we have, actually, I'm sorry, my God heard me. A case, esekuse is your aorist indicative active, third person singular from esakuo. So my God heard me, we would translate it. And then we go on, the God of my righteousness heard me. My God, or the God of my righteousness heard me. In the lipse eplatunas moi. In tribulation, and the root here means to make large. You made a large space, is the idea. Eplantunon is the from plantano. He made a large place, or you made a room in tribulation. The root is platuno, to make large. So in affliction, you made large. You made like a large place for me. And we have the aorist indicative active second person singular from platuno. And oi keresan me. Here we pity me, I would render it. And this is from oi tiro, to have pity. So pity me, the aorist imperative from oiktiro, singular. So pity me and hear my prayer. Hearken unto my prayer. Esakusan is again from esakuo, the aorist imperative masculine singular from esakuo. So hear my prayer. So the psalmist is praying that the Lord, who is his righteousness, will make a broad place for him of escape and hear his prayer. So then we move on to the next verse in the Hebrew. Beni ish. O sons of men, ad me chevodi liklima. How long will you put my glory to shame? Te'ehavun rik tevakshu chazav selah. You love vanity. You seek falsehood or lying. Selah. So, O sons of men, he's addressing himself here to those who have been opposing him, probably. B'nai ish ad meh, how long? Hevodi, my glory, to shame. And we supply, shall you put my glory to liklima, to shame. You love vanity. Te'ahavun is from ahav, to love. It's the cow imperfect second masculine plural from ahav. You love rik, vanity, and you seek tevakshu, a lie or falsehood. Tevakshu is from bakash, to seek. It's a pl imperfect second person masculine plural from bakash. So you seek falsehood, or you seek a lie. And looking at the Septuagint of that verse, it says, Huioi anthropon. O sons of men, heos pate baru cardioi. How long will you be, probably here, slow in heart or heavy in heart? Baru cardioi means heavy in heart or slow in heart. And then we continued. Wherefore, Hinati agapate mataiateta. How long, or wherefore, I should say, do you love vanity? Agapate is from agapao. Are you loving vanity? A present indicative active second person plural from agapao. How long are you loving vanity? And seek kai zeteta pseudas, and you are seeking a lie or falsehood. Zeteta is the present indicative active second person plural from zeteo. And then we have diapsalma, like a pause at that point. So in the Hebrew, we have selah. So like a pause is the way probably we would understand the rendering of the Septuagint. And then he continues, Udeu ki hifla Adonai chasid lo. But know that the Lord has set apart the godly person for his own, or for himself. Udeu is from the root yada, and the yod has elided. It's probably a pei vav verb, I believe, or excuse me, a pei vav verb from vada, and now we've lost the vav. It dropped out, or the yod, which later became a yod, and so no from yada, it is the cow imperative masculine plural from yada. Know that the Lord has set apart. Hifla is from pala, to set apart, a hifel, perfect, third masculine singular from pala. Know that the Lord has set apart the chassid, the godly, for himself. And then Adonai Yishma Kor'i Elav. The Lord will hear when I call unto him. Yishma is the cow imperfect, third masculine singular from Shama. So the Lord will hear Bekor'i, at the time. Here we have a temporal use of the infinitive with the bait. When I call unto him. Kor'i is from kara, to call. It's the cow infinitive construct with the pronominal suffix in the hirik yod, in my calling, or with a temporal use, when I call unto him. So the Lord will hear when I call unto him, and he will answer. And so we're seeing here his prayer to God and his anticipation that the Lord will answer him. And the Septuagint then reads in that verse, Kai genote chate ethelmastose kurias tan hasian al tu. But no, and this is from Gnosko, and it's an imperative, a aorist imperative, second person plural from Gnosko. Egnon would have been the aorist here, and it's an imperative. Know that the Lord has done wonderful things for his Holy One. Ethelmastose is from the root thelmastao, meaning to magnify or to make marvelous. So we could render this, the Lord has made marvelous, the aorist indicative active third person singular, from the root thou mastao. So the Lord has made marvelous, or we could render it, has shown marvelous things understood for his Holy One. Tan Hasian Altu. Hasian meaning holy, for his Holy One. And the Lord, Kyrios Esakusete, the Lord will hear. The Lord will hear me in my calling unto him. Esakusete is your future indicative middle, third person, third person singular from esakuo. So the Lord will hear me in my calling. Into kekragenai is from the root kradzo, to call. And here we have another infinitive with the article that we would understand as an infinitive in my calling, the perfect infinitive from kradzo, into kekragenai, to call, or in, literally, the calling with reference to me, an accusative of general reference in the mahir, in my calling. So the Lord will hear in my calling, or actually at the time of my calling, pras altan, to him. And again, the root is from kradzo, to cry out, to call out, to cry out. So the Lord will hear in my crying out unto him. And so we move on to the next verse in the Hebrew. This would be verse uh, 5. Rigzu va'al te'atahu imru vilvavchem al mishkavchem vedumu selah. Tremble and do not sin. Speak in your heart. Rigzu is from ragaz, to tremble. It's a cow imperative masculine plural from ragaz. So tremble, but al techatahu, and do not sin. Tehatahu is from chata, to sin. It's the cow imperfect second masculine plural from chata, and preceded by the negative al. So do not sin. Imru vilvavchem. Say in your heart. That means to meditate. Imru is the cow imperative masculine plural from amar. So speak in your heart. And that's a Hebrew way of saying meditate. Meditate in your heart. Al mishkavchem, upon your bed. Vidomu selah, and be silent. Here we have excuse me, please. It's a morning sneeze, I guess. Here we have be silent. Vedomu, from damam, to be silent. We have an imperative, a cow imperative masculine plural from damam. So and be still, selah. And it looks like he's addressing those that are opposing him. In other words, tremble and do not go on doing what you're doing. Commune in your heart, meditate upon your bed, and be still. So it looks like he's talking to those that are his enemies and telling them what they need to do. And so we now come to look at the Greek here, and it says orgidzeste kaime hamartanete. Be angry and sin not. Orgidzeste is your present imperative middle second person from orgidzo. So be angry and sin not. In other words, you may be angry, but don't sin by perpetually doing what you're doing. So be angry and do not hamartanete, from hamartano, a present indicative, a present imperative, a second person plural from hamartano. Sin not. Cha legate in tais cardiais humon. That would be the things that you are saying in your heart. Be angry and sin not. The things which you are saying in your heart. In the next phrase, legate is your present indicative active second person plural from Lego. The things which you are saying in your hearts, uh, instead of doing what is wrong against me, I think he's saying, epi tais koitais humon kata nugete diapsalma. That is, upon your beds, feel compunction. Feel compunction upon your bed. Um, Here we have the idea of being deeply pierced. Katanugete is the aorist indicative, uh, second person, aorist imperative, I should say, second person plural, from the root katanuso, to be pierced in heart or deeply pained. So it's sort of like upon your bed, be deeply pained, be pierced in your heart. Probably that what you're doing is wrong, the psalmist is saying. And then he goes on to then encourage them to offer sacrifice. So in the next uh, verse, we read in the Hebrew, Zivhu Zivchei Tzedek. Offer sacrifice, uh, offer sacrifices, literally, of righteousness. Zivhu is from Zavach. It's a cow imperative, second masculine plural from Savach. So offer sacrifices of righteousness, uvitchu al Adonai, and trust in the Lord. From batach, to trust, another cow imperative masculine plural from batach, trust unto the Lord. So he's encouraging them to offer sacrifices and put their trust in the Lord rather than thinking of doing wrong to him. The Septuagint reads, Thusate thusion dikaiasunes. Offer the sacrifice of righteousness. Kai elpisate epi kurion, or kurion, and trust in the Lord. So sacrifice from thuo, here we have your aorist imperative, second masculine plural, sacrifice, and we have a cognate noun with that, thusion, sacrifice, a sacrifice. And I'm just thinking about the Hebrew here, you have similar, sivhu, sivche, again, cognate, sivche. So sacrifice, the sacrifices of righteousness, and then trust in the Lord. El kai el pisate tan kurion. Here we have the aorist imperative, second masculine plural from el pizzo. So trust in the Lord. Again, he's encouraging, and the translation seems to capture the same. He's encouraging those who are doing evil against him to change their perspective and offer sacrifices to the Lord and trust in him. Then we come to verse 7. Excuse me. And I'm reading in the Hebrew. Rabim omrim mi yareni tov nesa aleinu or panecha Adonai. That is, many are saying, who will cause us to see good. Omrim is the cow participle masculine plural from amar. Many are saying, who will cause us? Yareni is from ra'ah, to see. It's the hifil imperfect, third masculine singular. Who will cause us? Many say, who will cause us to see good? And again, that nu is your pronominal suffix, first common plural. So who will cause us good and to see good? And then, O Lord, nasa aleinu, or lift up over us the light of your panecha, Adonai, the light of your face. In other words, look approvingly upon us, the psalmist seems to be saying. And by the way, this goes back to Numbers 6, the priestly benediction. And so now he's praying for the people that they would be blessed by the Lord. And nasa is a cow imperative masculine singular, from to look upon us, or lift up, literally lift up upon us the light of your face. So give us your glance in a positive way, the light of your face. And then the Septuagint of verse 7, just read it, reads, Anasta Kyria, Sosa Mechata As Mu. Excuse me, I was reading the wrong text here. Let me just go back here. Many are saying, Paloi legusin. Many say, Tis dexe humin ta agatha. Who will show us good things? Legusi is your present indicative active third person plural from Lego. Many are saying, who will show us, from dek numi, future indicative active third person singular, who will show us the good things. The light of your face, you have manifested upon us the light of your face. Esse me ose ef hemas tafos tu prasopusu curia, or curia. Notice here, as we're looking at the grammar a bit here, esse me ose is from seme ao, meaning to make manifest. So you have made manifest. You have caused to be made manifest. Aorist indicative passive third person singular from seme ao. You have made manifest unto us the light of your face, O Lord. And notice the hope and the assurance that the psalmist is showing at this point. So then we go to the next phrase, and going to the Hebrew again. You have put gladness. Natata simcha belibi. You have put gladness in my heart. Natata is from Natan. It's the cow perfect second masculine singular from Natan. You have put gladness in my heart. Me et deganam v'tirosham rabu. That is more then their corn and their wine have increased. Rabu, a cow, perfect, third common plural from Rabab. In other words, you have put gladness in my heart more than the increase of their corn and their wine. And he's looking at how they rejoice in an abundant harvest, but he has the harvest of a glad heart. And so basically, even though they make a lot over the abundant harvest, he feels that he's blessed by the glad heart. Often people put a great emphasis on how much money they make and other things. The most important thing is the inward heart and the glad heart that the Lord can give. And for those who trust Him, and as a Christian, I apply that to trusting and loving Christ. And even though you may not see a lot of financial gain, there is a glad heart that the Lord brings. So then we go to the Septuagint. Edokas euphrasunein eisten cardian mu. You have given gladness into my heart. Here we have edokas, the aorist indicative active second person singular from didomi. So you have put gladness or given gladness in my heart. Apa karpu situ. Apa here would be from the fruit, and I think we need to understand this in a comparative sense. More than the fruit. You put gladness in my heart from literally the fruit of their corn and wine and oil, which they were multiplied with. So you have actually, I'm understanding apa here to be sort of a comparative from in comparison with the fruit of their corn and their wine and their oil. What I have is better than from what they have been multiplied with. What I have is better. I think the psalmist is saying, looking at the way it was translated. And notice here, epleithun thesan is from the root pleithuno, to multiply. So more than they were multiplied with that, the joyous heart that you have given to me is better than that, I think he's saying. Epleithun thesan is from the root pleithuno, to multiply. It is the aorist indicative passive third person plural from pleithuno. So more than they are multiplied from the fruit of their wine and so forth. In other words, they have been satisfied with that, but what I have is even greater, I think, is the import here. You have given gladness in my heart more than the fruit of their corn and oil and wine have been multiplied. And so then we come to the last verse, and I'm going back to the Hebrew. So he's going to lie down in peace now and sleep. So Beshalom Yakdav Eshkavava Ishan. In peace, together, I will lie down and I will sleep. Eshkava is from shakav. It could be a cohortative, let me lie down and let me sleep, or just a statement, I'm going to do this. Uh, Eshkava is from shachav, to lie down. A cow, uh, imperfect, first common singular from shachav. And so both together, I will lie down and ve'ishan, and I will sleep. From yashan, to sleep, it's a cow imperfect, first a common singular from yashan. And then for you, O Lord, ki ata Adonai levadad, uh, lavetach toshiveni. For you, O Lord, alone, cause me to dwell securely or safely. Uh, Notice it's the Lord alone that causes him to have peace and lie down. And Toshiveni is from the root yashav. It was historically a pei vav verb, vashav. And when we look at this form here, Toshiveni, historically it was probably Tau Shiveni becoming Toshiveni. The Pathak Vav, Holim, changed to a long Holim Vav in the Hifil here. This is a Hifil imperfect, second masculine singular from Yashav, followed by the pronominal suffix and the E here with the hinge, Ani. You have caused me to dwell lavetak securely or safely. So I'm going to lie down and I'm going to get a good rest and sleep. Notice the peace that he has here, because even with the fear of the impending danger, he knows that the Lord is there and he can be free from anxiety and go to sleep even in the midst of that. So this is an amazing assurance. And I go now to the Septuagint, which reads, In erene epita alta koime thesamai kai humneso. In peace, together, I will do two things. Koime thesamai, I shall be caused to lie down. Here we have the root koimao, to fall asleep or lie down. It's the future indicative passive. Notice the theta eta sigma, first person singular from koimao. So I shall lie down and I shall sleep. Humnose is from humnao. It is the future indicative active first person singular. I shall sleep. Why? Hatesu kuria katamana. For you, Lord, alone. Katamanas. Elpide katoi kisas me. For you have caused me to dwell securely. Katoi kisas is the aorist indicative active second person singular from katoi kidzo. That is, you have caused me to dwell in literally hope, which means in hope that you will be there and that you will protect me. And so as I look at this interesting psalm, the hope is in the Lord, in spite of what is going on in the outward circumstances. And just a summary of vocabulary, platuno means to make large, oiktiru means to have pity, Barukardias means like heavy or slow of heart in that adjective. Thaumastao, to magnify or to make marvelous. Kradzo, to cry. Katanuso, to be pierced in heart. Um, Se meao, to be manifested. And then we have the verb plethuno, to multiply. Koimao, to lie down. Humnao, to fall or to sleep. And katoi kidzo, to cause to dwell or to dwell. So this is a wonderful, assuring psalm. And I think we can apply it today. As a Christian minister, I think of the New Testament where Jesus said, Lo, I am with you always. And we have encouragement, even though it's hard to apply often. Be anxious and trust the Lord. And that's, I have to preach to myself to try to live that. But to know that the Lord is always there is our reassurance. We're told that nothing can ever sever us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord, in Romans chapter 8. So this is a psalm of assurance, a psalm of hope, a psalm of trust in the Lord in the midst of adversarial times.